Our verse today is Sirach chapter 48, verse 9. You were taken up by a wide wind of fire in a chariot with horses of fire. From chapter 44, the author of the book of Sirach, that is Ecclesiasticus, praises Israel's great ancestors. He begins with Enoch, through Noah, Abraham, Moses, down to Simon the high priest in chapter 50. Our verse comes from chapter 48, where he gives a summary of the life of Elijah, praising his works. If you wish to know more about Elijah or the life of Elijah, read 1 Kings chapters 17, 18, 19, 21, and 2 Kings chapters 1 and 2. In our verse, Sirach refers to 2 Kings chapter 2, where Elijah was taken up to heaven in the wide wind. In that narrative, Elijah, before the eyes of Elisha, his servant, was taken up to heaven. There are only two people who did not die in the Bible who were taken alive to heaven. They are Elijah and Enoch. Read Genesis chapter 5, verse 24. These two men became reference points in Judaism as people who uniquely worked with God. In the case of Elijah, the rabbis believed that Elijah would return before the advent of the Messiah, and we see this also in the book of the prophet Malachi. That is the reason they asked John the Baptist if he was Elijah. He was taken up in the wide wind of fire. What does it mean? Wind and fire were part of the ways God manifested himself in the Old Testament. You can read Exodus chapter 13 and chapter 24. God manifested himself before Elijah on Mount Horeb through wind and fire. 1 Kings chapter 19. So the chariots of fire, or the chariots of horses of fire, further strengthen God's manifestation in the fire. In the Bible, the word chariot appears about 150 times. We can classify these references into three. One, chariots as royal vehicles for conveying kings. The number of chariots describe the strength of the king. 2 Samuel chapter 8, verse 4. You can also look at 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 26. Number two, chariots were battle vehicles for fighting war. And number three, we have divine chariots. The divine chariot portrays God as a divine warrior who makes the cloud his chariots. Look at Psalm 104, verse 3, or Ezekiel chapter 1, 5 to 15. Elijah is taken up in a divine chariot. He was already presented as a very prophet who fought for the purity of Israel's religion. So it is no wonder that he is ferried to heaven with a divine chariot. But what do we learn from this verse? Elijah was a significant influence in Judaism because of his dedication, his life of zeal for God, the law, and the commandments earned him a name till date. The Orthodox Jews still reserve a seat for Elijah in their homes awaiting his return. What shall we be remembered for when we die? Will God's chariot take us home to heaven at the end of our lives because we have fought a good fight till the end? Will people remember us for the good we have done on earth and keep our memory alive? Lord, give us the spirit and zeal of Elijah. Amen. God bless you, and I wish you a lovely day.